You know, in the wacky world of evangelical churches, where cult is a dirty word, one guy's story takes an unexpected twist. Instead of getting the boot for admitting he's gay, Grant found himself in a divine download dilemma. His church leader suggested he install an app called Covenant Eyes to control his urges. But this app isn't just your average anti porn tool. Oh, no, no, no. It's a full blown shameware spy. They take screenshots, eavesdrop on web traffic, and report your every online move to an accountability partner. Google didn't like this Big Brother vibe, and they did kick them to the digital curb. Not to mention, it's not just about adult content, they're also snooping on LGBTQ plus topics and much, much more. Now, they may claim to help with addictions, but experts are skeptical, and they say it's less about protecting your purity and more about making you a pastor approved puppet. This article is from Wired.com and was published September 22nd, 2023. And I am going to kick it straight over to Helen. Hi, Helen.
Hi. So, okay. I'm going to tell y'all. One, sex addiction is not a real thing. Usually people that have these type of behaviors, they're trying to replace, they have an unhealthy relationship with sex, and they're not expressing their feelings, and they're using it like they would use any other soothing mechanism for connection and for dealing with trauma in not the healthiest way. So I'm just going to point that out. But saying that was my little quibble about that issue, because this is one of the things that drives me crazy when people start shaming people for something that's natural that happens to nearly every single human being on the planet, But okay, fine. But but the thing that's really, really annoying is that I find this very hypocritical, because correct me if I'm wrong, my fellow panelists, isn't this usually the side that's complaining about invasions of privacy? That Big Brother is invading people's lives too much, and they're collecting our data. There's a camera everywhere, and on it goes. But for some reason, if they start, monitoring people in their own congregation, all bets are off, and it's disturbing. Like, I know that algorithms are paying attention to everything that I do on my phone or on my computer. I know it, and I know they're collecting data, and I don't know how to fix that monolith, and that's not what we're talking about in this segment, so we're going to skip that discussion. But the issue is that these watcher apps are people that want to monitor their own congregation. And I know Phil's going to talk about this in a little bit. I read your notes, Phil. But this is called behavior, and it is not about holding people accountable. Because listen, if you're watching some gay porn on a Saturday night, you're home by yourself having a good time, nobody should care, but they care, because if we can control your sexuality, we can control you. So that's my initial statements about how disgusting this is. Kelley, I mean, we already talked to Kelley. Go to Kelley. It's fine. Kelley's your turn. You can give more further thoughts.
All right. You know what? I had a hard time making a coherent narrative for all of this, but I had some random thoughts. I'll just shoot out one real quick, and I'll pass it over to John. Fight the New Drug program it sold 100,000 copies, and it was supposed to help fight the addiction of masturbation. Now, I'm willing to bet that in the world, there were more than 100,000 people that were masturbating during the time we filmed this week's episode of Nonprofits. So I'm not sure they're making that big of an impact. Go ahead, John.
I thought AI was a threat, but spycraft has made its way onto your phone. I don't have a phone, so I can be safe in my desktop computer. Wrong. Anyway, to use one of these programs to monitor your parishioners and kids, what else can they do? We, the ominous they, have decided. And what if aversion does not even have to be evident to you? What is the next step? If you Want your welfare or food stamps? We need you to use this app on your phone. Don't have a phone? Well, here's one to order your food, Uber or Lyft. Use your pension or food stamps, your stipend, and then uh, the next thing you know, everything you do is in a mainframe computer somewhere buried in the NSA or the FBI or the CIA or any name your favorite uh, conspiracy theory U.S. organization. Um, but I can't understand why even a parent would want to subject their kids to this kind of thing. It really is a way of degrading them, not helping them out. They're going to look for information online. That's what this generation, the generation before it, do. They Google things when they don't know them. The amount of information we have at our fingertips is astronomical. We can't possibly even start to look at all of it. But I just had a thought, though. What if Chucky is waiting on your phone? That's kind of spooky, but enough conspiracy mongering. It is not happening. Or is it? I have questions. Anyway, Phil, what do you think?
Well, what I think is about this, it is the typical cultic behavior. It follows the model for cults or cultic behavior to a T. You have their behavioral control. It's trying to control the behavior of the congregants of a congregation. You have informational control. It's checking what you are looking at online. Thought control. Yes. So now they want to control your thoughts. So true. Okay, you go into this website. Why are you going there? Well, your thoughts don't allow your thoughts to go there. Emotional control. No, it has people on the edge, people with this perpetual state of guilt and fear.
Exactly.
Suppose I accidentally go and look on this particular, going through searches, and it just goes on this particular website that has questionable material that the church will call questionable material, and the person just bypass that because it did happen. And one of the guys who has been traumatized by this, Christian guy, a guy who was going to the Grace, the Baptist church, and was using the app. That happened to him. He said he was just scrolling through, and then the pastor or one of the mentors came and asked him about why he was looking at this site. Then he was not. So it is like keeping persons in this. This is all marks of a cult. Controlling a person's life, and this is really dangerous. It is traumatic for people. Imagine now you had before you were told you had an invisible deity watching everything you do. Now you actually have a piece of technology which is actually exists in reality, not the other thing. So Helen, what are your thoughts about that?
Okay. My major issue with this is that I'm worried about the slippery slope that's going to happen, because what these apps are designed to do, and this is a few $1 million industry that these apps that are supposed to be policing people. Now, I have some problems with this, because who says that technology can't be downloaded to other spyware? of people like the rest of us who may watch porn on their phones or look up certain things about criticisms of religion. What if you're a religious person and you contact recovering from religion, or I don't, look up articles about skepticism? You start watching YouTube videos of, all the atheist activists that are out there, talking about skeptical thinking and free thought and humanism. That's also the issue. They're using the guise of, making sure that people aren't, touching their wing
Not
wangs,
looking at porn.
and looking at adult content, going to OnlyFans, whatever it is. That's the slippery slope, because I guarantee you there are going to be people like at the FBI and the CIA and other government and tech organizations that may want to be start talking about NSA. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you, Kelley. You're the part of my brain. Like a part of these organizations that are going to want to see what people are searching for. And they made all these changes with like the Liberty Act after 9/11. And those slowly started getting implemented, and it happened in a way that we didn't really even notice. So what is it for this to start moving into this secular society?
It doesn't take much.
It does not take much. And these Christians, these people that want authority control because they believe in an invisible sky daddy that it has authority after their lives. And then next thing is going to like government and like, well, we don't want the kids, looking up about like gender studies when they're like 13. Oh no. And also if you want to know how your government's run, and you want to be a person that maybe wants to fix policy and become more educated on it, it's just a matter of going into your phone and seeing, what are my political opponents doing and come up with strategies to counteract it. So I know that we're talking about purity culture and that sort of thing, but like this type of stuff always never goes in a good direction because human beings are terrible. We're a bunch of irrational, emotional meatbags. And we don't always make decisions, even though we think they're sound. So the best decisions. So anyway, that's my very, very deep concern. Kelley, do you have more concerns about this silly?
I have a whole bunch more random thoughts. Dan Armstrong, who was the spokesman for one of the spyware programs, Covenant Eyes, he says the company is concerned with privacy and they discourage its use among relationships with a power imbalance. And I read that and I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Isn't just making someone use this app a sign of a freaking power imbalance? Right? I mean, exactly. I guess it's all right to be blind to the problem as long as you're looking at yourself, right?
Now, just a side note, Kelley, I mentioned this in my notes too about like who's monitoring the pastors.
Yeah, well,
good point.
50,000
That's where we're talking about power imbalances.
50,000 people have downloaded Covenant Eyes, and the company says they've grossed $27 million. That's just a little over $500 a person. So that's how it's going to stop getting you, Helen, because who's going to pay your $500? Now, that's a lot of money to have somebody spy on you, right? My mom did it for free when I was a kid. I don't know. Maybe they should just get a bunch of moms instead.
When you're a mom, you will find shit out. Like, I don't need out. I just know.
And we were talking about the different organizations, Helen, on your argument, and the current iteration of the program was developed by a guy named Michael Holm, who actually is an ex-employee of the NSA, which is like the joke means no such agency, but is actually the National Security Agency. And so you don't have to worry. He's a well-trained spy. There's no half-ass spying going on their network. When you pay to have them spy on you, you are getting your $500 worth from them. So,
and Kelley, remember, he's a Christian spy.
Eddie King, pastor of the Grace Point Church, says all church members are required to download the app. All church volunteers, not members, volunteers. You have to pay over $500 for someone to spy on you before you can volunteer at the church. Or according to the minister, you can just get the other app accountable to you because it's a little cheaper. But I was looking into it. I'm not sure if a professional spy wrote that program. So, weigh the self-spying and shaming options carefully before you buy. Freaking what a scam. Seriously. How if they get everybody to fall for this, how do they seriously get volunteers that have half a brain? I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. And
God will reimburse them, though.
it just blows me away. It blows me away. Doesn't anybody like both these were suspended by Google. They were both kicked to the curb, as I mentioned in the opening. And I was wondering, doesn't anyone at Google check on the apps that they put up for sale? They generated over $257 billion freaking dollars last year. They can afford to hire a couple dozen people to check on this, right? It makes me wonder what other apps got through that they didn't see.
True.
I had some really crazy ideas, but I'm definitely not going to fucking repeat them here, believe me. And if God, I wrote a couple of them in my notes if you guys want to see them, and you'll see why I don't want to repeat them. If God can see everything and he isn't directly punishing someone for looking at porn, say, and let's face it, there's nothing in the Bible that specifically says that you can't look at porn, then why in God's name, see what I did there, would a church need someone to spend $500 to spy for God? What is going on? Is God not a good enough spy for himself?
Again, I'm always. You have an all-powerful being that can, do anything, but he's got to have a nanny on somebody's phone, so he's not whacking it by
this
themselves.
This isn't a nanny. This is a professional NSA spy. That's all my random thoughts, though. So go ahead and take it away from me, please.
Holy smokes!
I don't have a lot more to say on this myself because it's obvious that next you think they're going to have companies with spyware on sites that you go to that's going to determine what kind of ads you see. Oh yeah, we already have that. No, but anyway, it's just one of those things, So Helen.
I'm going to go to Phil.
Yeah. I just want to say again. Oh boy. The usual again. Christian claiming he believed God wanted and helped him to develop this app. Again. Oh my gosh. Belief informing actions and bad actions. So it again crouching this thing. Oh, this is from God. This is revelation from God. God is saying this is the app to use to help you control your urges. But I want to see what other things you're doing behind the scenes. Yeah, I gotta see what's going behind the scenes apart from the pornography. Yeah, but these guys are a piece of work, and again, I always see in this trend where Christians have this claim they may do some immoral actions, carry out some immoral actions, and make some immoral decisions, and then say, "Oh, God, give me the revelation." And there are people who drink that and swallow the fishing rod, including the hook. Yeah. Yeah, Helen.
So I want to point out that mentioned in the article, 500,000 people have downloaded this app, and the revenue for the company for Covenant Eyes is $26 million. Now, being a charitable, if I was in a church and I had access to my congregation having $500 a pop, maybe that money could, I don't know, go to like feeding the homeless and go to,
Put a
helping
new
kids
roof
get
on the
to
church.
put a new roof on the church, whatever it is, like whatever
Yeah.
expense it is, you have access to that money. But no, you're going to pay a third party to help you monitor if one of your members is like looking up, LGBTQ issues on Google. Because it's not
Yeah.
just the sexual
Mhm.
content. They're looking and like, again, what are you doing, and are you going against the mission of the religion? So, and
Right.
I think that our wonderful audience should go against the mission of religion and find out more things about the nonprofits and get some more information into your brain. So on that note, click here above me, there'll be a video. Do.